What is up, fellas, lady fellas? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, doing a little news video on a new card revealed for the OCG's premium pack. Now, keep in mind we don't get the premium pack, so this will probably be put in some other product somewhere else for us, so we won't be sure when we get this. But still, it's a really cool card. I think a lot of Galaxy Photon. Players will be excited about this. It's an interesting card. I'm not sure actually how good it is, but it's definitely interesting. So let's jump right into it. Today we've got Hyper Galaxy. It's a quick play spell card that you can only activate once per turn. And its effect reads this. Tribute one monster with 2,000 or more attack, except for a Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon. Then target one monster with 2,000 or more attack your opponent controls as cost. Tribute that monster, and if you do, special summon a Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So there's kind of a lot going on here. And I think a lot of people are going to first look at this and go, what the heck? That's a -1. Like, you got to tribute a monster and use this card just to get a Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon. It is a 2-for-1, but there are certain, things you can argue against. That is a 2-for-1 for your boss monster. Is that worth it? It could be. Galaxy-Eyes is a pretty decently powerful card. So this may be worth it in terms of if you're worried about 2-for-1. And I think there's another thing that a lot of people with removal effects like this kind of get iffy on. And you're while it affects your advantage as well as your opponents, they don't count everybody's opponent advantage moving. So people look at this card and they go, oh, what? That's a -1. You're paying 2-for-1. But it's a 2-for-1 that also makes your opponent go -1, right? It takes a monster off of their field as well. So in a way, you could almost argue that it's a 2-for-2, right? Taking something from your opponent is almost you gaining at resources in a sense, but just in terms of overall card economy. There. So I think a lot of people overlook effects like that, and they don't consider that as part of the equation, when I think that would make a lot of cards seem better. In people's eyes. So I'm not saying that makes this card amazing, because a 2-for-2 is still a break even at best. So keep that in mind. But this card's really interesting. So one of the things when you look, and another thing when you look at a removal spell or any removal card is how it removes. Okay, so your cost is just targeting. So it does target, which is okay, and it tributes your opponent's monster. Now, obviously, this card would be way better if it kind of worked like Lair of Darkness, and it tributed your opponent's monster as cost. But maybe that would just be a little bit too strong, right? But still, tributing is a very good removal. It's just the targeting thing. So the removal's pretty solid. Target's only really the bad part there. The only other thing that kind of brings this card down is it takes some setup. You got to put a 2,000 or higher monster on your field, which is actually very easy in this deck, like Galaxy Soldier. Doesn't Galaxy Knight cut his own stats in half? So it depends. But Galaxy-Eyes Soul Flare Dragon is 2,000 attack. There's a bunch, Photon Thrasher. There's a ton of 2,000 attack point monsters in this deck. So that's not the huge worry. The other one is that your opponent also has to have a 2,000 or more attack monster. Which again isn't that crazy, but this is a quick play. So if you're setting it and trying to use it as a disruption against your opponent, you may have to wait a long time, and a lot of better decks in the game are more efficient at trying to clear that back row before they try and make their push. It's just irresponsible and never going to be the best move to just run head first into a deck that is set back row. And so they're going to be worried, what is that card? I want to know what that card is so I don't just lose to it. So let me do some things, try and bait it out. And if it sits too long, it may just get Phoenixed. And Phoenix is not 2,000 attack. So it really kind of can punish this card in that sense. But I do like that it's a quick play. I mean, obviously, quick play is the most powerful spell or trap card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because it can be activated on your turn in response to something, or it can be set and just used as essentially a trap card on your opponent's turn. Makes them the most versatile and fast cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? So I like that part, but it is a little specific. There needs to be a 2,000 monster on both sides of the field, which is just a little bit needy and it may make this card stay on the field a little longer than it should. And the last thing you look at a card like this is it's nice utility, but is it searchable? Because I don't know if I want to just play this card if it's not searchable. Because like how you get it, like I don't want to just play a 3 of this probably, and just hope I draw it, because that doesn't seem optimal. And this deck can search it. Long story short, Galaxy Wizard can search it, because this card can just tribute itself as cost to add a Galaxy card from your deck to your hand. So you can just tribute it. Now, that sounds like a 1-for-1, but it's a heavy 1-for-1, because this card most likely would have taken your normal summon just to get out. Maybe you had a way to just special him off, like with an extender to get him out. But if you didn't, he's just that's just kind of brutal. But this is a nice extra card to be able to search this quick play spell off of this card. If you can use this card as part of your combo, maybe you're just like, well, I can set up multiple monsters. I just want some stuff that messes with my opponent. Enter Hyper Galaxy. So I think this card is really interesting. I'm not sure if it's as good as it's like almost seeming to be, but it definitely is interesting. It's definitely powerful for sure. And getting to your boss monster even easier in a deck where it really wasn't that hard is nice. So guys, let me know your thoughts down below. I really am not a a savant of Photon Galaxy Eyes decks. So if you know more about this card, if you think there's other synergies with this card that kind of makes it more interesting, more intriguing, or maybe it doesn't work more or less because I'm over hyping like how good this card could be, definitely let me know down below. Just let me know your thoughts on that. I'm curious, because I do think this card's cool. And yeah, that'll pretty much do it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, and I will see you guys in the next video.